Hello. 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 Nice to have everybody here. It's 0 UT and a few seconds. So you want to do this like this. Just like this. And let's try to, let's just like move this like this. Hey, everyone. Nice to have you here. And this is the Shortwave Show with a short hair guy. Hello, everybody. And we are love. I like love, Rob. And we are love. Hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. Let me just open my first beer. I just had some... I get these good food boxes. And I made something. I won't pronounce it, but it's Oko Yumi, whatever. It's Japanese pancakes that are made with sweet potato. And man, it was so good. So good. I just couldn't stop eating. Kind of recipes that you look at and you're like, wow, I never would do that if I'd see that on the internet. But now that I have one to do, I got to do it. And wow, it was so good. So really, really nice little supper here. It's a little weird day today, but okay. Everything's all right. Pouring my beer. Hope everybody's all right. And hope everybody enjoyed last Friday's show. So welcome, everybody. This is the Wednesday edition. Depending where you are, because this is the Wednesday edition in North America. It's the Thursday edition in Europe and the rest of the world. So we, of course, are here to entertain and talk about radio. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. And we are talking about shortwave radio and radio in general and just having fun with radio and hope that everybody's all right. And I was listening to Mali, which was coming in really well on 5995. It's my regular listening experience now. I mean, they're in French, and it's kind of cool. You know, you're listening to an African country, and their music is so very unique. It's kind of exotic. I kind of like listening to Mali. At this time, like, 22, 23-ish UTC, I've pretty much been hooked to Radio Mali, Radio TV Malienne. And on 5995, it was a great signal, and it's really a lot of fun to listen to. So this show is twice a week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And starting next week, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. I gotta remember that. This show is twice a week. 8 p.m. Eastern starting next week. Why? Because we have daylight savings times coming on Sunday. Remember that the shows, they stay the same UTC time. What changes is your local time if you have the time change. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific starting next week for the show here. And this Friday is going to be normal, but next Friday also that changes because of daylight savings time. So just remember, put your clock in UTC and just use UTC as a reference. That's all you need, because shortwave and everything shortwave is UTC anyway. And that's what's important. So don't forget that, okay? Of course, those that don't observe, there's a few places like Saskatchewan, Canada, I think doesn't change. Arizona doesn't change. There's a few places that don't. Personally, I wish we would be on daylight savings times all year long. At least the sun would set at 5 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. in December. Although it would rise at 9 a.m. instead of like 8 a.m. or something. But, that would be nice to be in one zone all year long. I mean, that's something I'd like. Just talk about it. I don't know. Maybe someday it's going to happen. But for now, it's it's the kind of thing that hey, they have difficulty deciding on very basic things. So imagine deciding on whatever time change. We have Elizabeth that checks in from her with her email, and she's in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. And she says hello. She says, I want to wish all of my radio friends a great evening of shortwave listening on the show. And thank you so much for being such an amazing crowd, saying hello all the time. And I want to extend my warmest welcome to everybody. And I really love you all. So that's Elizabeth and Regina. We also have an email. David. David is located in Newfoundland, Canada. And he also is a silent, as he says, he's a silent key. Well, that's not a good term. A silent key is somebody that normally has passed away. So we'll just say you're a silent voice, which is much better as a term. In case you didn't know, silent key has its own meaning, which is, somebody that passed away. Unless you're a ghost, that's not what I don't like that term. Let's call you a silent voice. And he says he's been listening for the past 3 months, enjoys the show, and thank you for everything you do. It's amazing. Thank you very much, David. And of course, we are here to entertain. There's a fabulous, fantastic, amazing. Anything else I could say that's gonna even put it better? Facebook group has the same name as the channel here, official SWL channel. And I mean, people post all sorts of things. It's thanks to that group that I knew that there was a pirate today. I just went through the group. It's like, oh, there's a pirate. Somebody posted. And I just went and listened to the pirate 6925. There's a lot of the things that are happening that I'm actually learning thanks to the group. The other day was somebody posting all the Mars nets that he was hearing. I was like, hey, I'm going to try them out. And I could hear a lot of them too. I mean, it's really cool because there's a chat room here with amazing people. But when all of that is over, you don't have to stay alone. You go to the Facebook group and you have all of these amazing people that are actually there and posting what they listen to, pictures of the radios. I need to turn this on. There we go. Listen to the radios. I mean, it's really, really a lot of fun to see all of this. I need to put this sign on the air at a much better place than that. It has to be somewhere where we see it really well. I think I'm going to put it back here next to the clock. So it's really, really a lot of fun to have all of this happening and all of the group. And official SWL channel is the name of the group. I mean, it's just great. And it's wonderful people. I've been into so many groups. And there's always an idiot somewhere in those groups. There's always that guy that wants to prove he knows everything or wants to, belittle somebody. Oh, well, you are ignorant of whatever. If not, and I'm using ignorant, but sometimes it's almost like, oh, but you're stupid to think that. That's not this group. This group is not like that. This group is an amazing place where people respect each other. People ask questions. I mean, there's interaction. It's really a lot of fun. I'm happy to have actually created the group for that. We're at 550-ish people there. And I think it's a really fantastic place. Remember, if you join, Remember that you need to answer the radio questions, because if you don't, well, we're not going to let you in. I've let a couple of people in because I knew these person really, but I mean, if I don't know you, forget it. We're not going to let you in without any radio questions answers, and there's quite a few moderators in there, so we take the time, and the moderators, if you guys are not sure, just leave it there, and I'll look at it, and I'll decide myself what are we doing. That's it. So tonight we're going to talk about seasons, propagations. There's a few questions that came through that we're going to actually answer. Remember, when you are actually on the show, there's a beautiful chat room. All you need is to have and be logged into a Gmail account for it to work, and you can interact with people and just have fun with everybody else. We always say this is a solitary hobby. We were talking about that yesterday. Had a nice meetup with Sheldon Harvey and Mickey Delmage, that is in Alberta, that was temporarily in Montreal. And we went out to Barbie Barn. We had some ribs, and we spent a couple of hours talking, had a few beers, and we were talking about that, how this hobby is a solitary hobby, how a lot of people, and I was actually including myself in there. I know you guys, look at me today with the live shows that I do, and if I tell you I'm a shy guy or whatever, you're just gonna say, "Yeah, sure, you're the guy that does these live shows," and it's like, "Yeah, and sing at a karaoke. You're shy." Well, I'm different today than I was in the past, and one of the things we were talking about is how people, a lot of people in the hobby, we call them, they're in their basement, they're in their little world, and they don't come out. And there's a lot of people in the hobby that are like that. I mean, radio has that capability of having all of us um, listen to the world, all of us interact, but not necessarily have to meet people. And not everybody has that capacity of meeting people easily. And I have it today, but I didn't have it always. And we were talking about that, and talking about how, he was, Sheldon was talking about an example of the Shortwave Festival in Pennsylvania, where someone went there, and he lives near, but has never been there because that social interaction, having to go somewhere and there's other people there. He didn't really, he wasn't sure he could cope well with that. And at the end of the weekend, he was really happy to be there. And I told Sheldon, I remember the first time that I went to an event, radio event, first time ever, was Shortwave. It was called the Shortwave Festival. And actually, it was Sheldon and the CIDS Club that had done that. And we're, I don't know, somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember seeing an advertised that there's the Shortwave Festival coming up, and it's downtown Montreal. And the first thing that I thought was, yeah, should I go there? And I I kind of was able to get my courage up and go. But I still remember being in front of the door. It was in a church basement. And I remember being in front of the door, seeing Shortwave Festival outside. There was a sign, and thinking, okay, do I go in? Do I go in there or not? I was shy. I don't know. What do I do? And I finally went inside and talked to some people. And I think that is the first time ever that I said hi to Sheldon Harvey. I think it was the first time I had met Sheldon Harvey in person. I remember I said hello. It was probably a very quick exchange, especially knowing that I was not very, I was not very social. So I didn't know what to talk with people. And, it was a radio thing. I could have talked about radio, but, I was in my little bubble, my little world. And when I hear that, and when I hear that a lot of people aren't just, in their little world, I totally understand. I was there for such a long time. I was actually telling Sheldon yesterday, you know what? I'm happy that I do this because I was at that end of the scale, the guy that's not very social, kind of shy, not very open to going to a meeting with people. I had my close friends, and that was my bubble. So, yes, I would go out to the bars, but I would go out with my friends. I would go out to see things, but with my friends, my little close circle of friends, and not really interacting with much more than the people at work or school or whatever. And I told Sheldon yesterday, I said, what I'm happy with what I do now is I was at that end of the scale where going out and talking to people was kind of difficult. And I know a lot of you are in that same boat. Going out and meeting people is not necessarily the thing you want to do, or you kind of, you're not sure you want to interact like that. But here, it's different. The meetup isn't in person. We don't see each other. It's there's not that, there's that when you meet people in person, there's kind of that interaction that is, I don't know, we feel like we're maybe sometimes not belonging to some group, or we don't fit in or something. And here you don't have that. Why? Because here you're amongst friends, but it's not just that. You could be that silent voice that we're like David, that silent voice that, yeah, I'm not interacting, I'm not talking, I'm not chatting, but I'm watching the chat room. People talk. I'm watching the show. And even if I don't interact, I still feel I am part of something, which is nice. And some of you are interacting in a chat room, which is nice, and don't feel um, that it's different. You're not in front of people, you're just chatting with people. It's not, there's not the same level of shyness that shows up. Still, I remember, I mean, you guys are going to go crazy, but so I was talking about how I was in my bubble, and going to a shortwave festival was a big event for me. But I remember the first time there was a real chat, a live chat. I was shy to even go into a chat room. And I was like, yeah. And I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know what to say. Today you guys looking at me is like, wow, I can't believe yet you didn't know what to say. You talked for 4 hours on a live show where everybody's watching you. Hey, cheers, everybody. But that is who I am today. There's events in life that change you forever. It's very simple. The event, for those that don't know, what changed my life, what made me become a social person, is a job that I had where I was at my little bubble doing my own stuff, and I was very happy. And the boss left, and they needed a guy to, for the team. I was the only one that knew everything. So, of course, the first logical thing to do is you're going to be the boss starting Monday because you know everything. You are capable of being a boss. I still remember that was Friday evening, and I still remember going home and almost panicking at the idea that Starting Monday, I'm gonna have to tell everybody what to do, and I'm gonna have to interact with the companies that call in and have questions on the products and services. I was totally panicking. And I remember like I think I didn't sleep the whole weekend. It was crazy. And got in on Monday morning and started that. And as time went by, talking, interacting with the different companies calling in and the clients, the people in the back that were I was the boss. There were the employees. There was 17 people I had to, train, explain, help, and these people loved me. But you know what? It's something that sometimes you don't feel up to the job, but you do it, and it changes your life forever. And that was the job that changed my life forever. In the 2 years that I was a boss there before I left, it completely changed who I was. And now, when I left there, I didn't want to work for another company. I wanted to have my job, create my own job, do my own stuff. And it created who I am today. So, there are life experiences that change who you are forever. That is one. That was a job. If I had to say, I hated all of my jobs. I'm the kind of guy that never was fit for a 9 to 5 type of work. But we have to do it. I mean, you gotta live your life and you gotta make money. And when you're in your bubble, it's even worse because it's like you're not gonna create your own business because you're not there. You barely can talk to somebody. Come on, you're not gonna start your job or your business. That's for sure. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm ranting on here, but I don't know. I'm there right now. And it has to do still has to do with the hobby and how we perceive and how we interact. And I did. I before I was at that job and I became a boss. I had 4 different jobs. So I was the kind of guy that got a job, and after a couple of years was bored, would quit the job, and I of course would have put money in the bank, and I would quit the job, and I'd spend a few months just enjoying life, doing what I want. For those that have seen Seinfeld, there's an episode called something like "The Summer of George." Man, I relate to that so much for one simple reason. One of the jobs that I had, I a long time ago, we're in 1993, and here in Canada, we have unemployment insurance. So when you work, there's a part of your salary that goes to pay these premiums. And when if you lose your job, well, you got unemployment insurance that kicks in so that you don't lose everything. So in 1993, I have a job that I hate. I wake up in the morning and I'm depressed to go to work. I hate it like there's no tomorrow. But I have to work. I need money. I gotta pay the rent. And that job, there was a lot of every night, every weekend, there was you could actually work more hours. And I would always say no. And I remember the boss would always tell me, "You're a bad employee. You always say no. Look at all the people here that work, that stay an hour later, that work on Saturdays." I hated the job. My idea was the less I'm here, the more I'm happy. So, unemployment insurance in Canada at that time, I don't know today what it is, but at that time worked in a way that the last 20 weeks of your salary was taken into account for the amount, the premium you're going to get if you lose your job. Even worse, today you can't quit your job. Back in 1993, you could quit your job and have unemployment insurance. But there were so many people taking advantage of that they actually changed the rules so that no, you can't quit your job now and have that. You got to lose your job, or if you quit it, you got to have a really good reason. So 1993 is the year they implemented the new rule that you can't quit your job. And I'm going to tell you guys, yes, I was there, and I was at that moment. I hated my job, and there was a thing back then. I knew that if I wanted to have some time to do whatever I want and have a great summer, that was the last chance, because I would have to work all of my life. I mean, me not allow, have only the 2 or 3 weeks of vacation a year, and that's it. So they passed their law, and it came in effect in, I think it was something like in March of 93. Until that rule was there, you could still quit your job. And because I had seen that was coming, and I hated that job so much, and now you'll understand why, the last 20 weeks of your salary are going to decide how much you're going to get. Of course, I started working more. I would stay up, I would come in an hour early, leave an hour later, work on Saturdays, even on Sundays, sometimes when they needed people. And then the boss said, wow, you become the model employee working all the time. Yeah, because that boosted my salary so much. Because I was thinking, the last 20 weeks are going to be what I'm going to get. Like, it was like 60% of whatever that salary is what you were getting. So I thought, I'm going to work real hard now, because I'm going to get 60% of that salary. And I worked so much that when I actually left the job and asked for unemployment insurance, my premiums were almost the same as my 40-hour work week, sorry. So I know, I took advantage of a situation here. But you know what? That was the summer of Gilles, because it was that time when I just had the best. Still today, I mean, today I have a lot of possibilities. I do YouTube stuff. I work from home. Of course, I have a lot of time that I could take off and do stuff. But it's not the same. I still have that feel. I got to work. I got to do videos, and I go do live shows. I can't not do that, because my YouTube revenue is going to go down. But of course, I have a possibility to do more with what I want. But that was, I left in March, and back then they gave 52 weeks of premiums. And I remember I got out of that job that I hated so much, and I thought, I'm going to take all 52 damn weeks of that premium and just enjoy life, because it's possibly the last time ever that I'll be able to do that. And man, did I enjoy my summer. I remember I had my scanner radios, my shortwave radios, and I would go out all the time, and I would go watch movies. I would go to all the festivals. I had a blast. And, it's funny how life is sometimes. And, and now I'm here today anyways. And things have changed. But that's life. So now you know a little more about Gilles' life. Gilles' life. So let's I'm just going to do a little something here because I am an old man that can't read really well small text. I notice that my text is very small on the screen. Just Control plus, or as Mac people would say, Command plus. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. John W. Nice to have you here. Matambaling, Colorado. Shitty Pyro 90. Man, I talked for 30 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to catch up as fast as I can. Shitty Pyro 90. Nice to have you on board from British Columbia, Canada, where we get rain. Matt. Nice to have you here, my friend from Colorado. Bobby Burgess. Nice to have you here from Louisiana. We have Rob. Nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. What else do we have? Rufus, nice to have you on board. James Farley, nice to have you here from New Jersey. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Mitch, nice to have you here from Buckeye, Arizona. Northern Dawn, nice to have you on board. Got his radio wow and wire set up. Route 66 fan, nice to have you here from Kansas City. We have Today's Figures. Nice to have you on board from España. ¿Cómo está, mi amigo? B Rice. Nice to have you here. Crittenden Tuttle 4. Nice to have you here. Joseph Conti from Tampa, Florida. Nice to have you here. Mark Stevens. Nice to have you here. Says great haircut from Western North Carolina. Larry from Georgia. Nice to have you here. I look tan. No, it's the lighting system. I changed some of the balls for like warmer light rather than the whitish light from like the LED, the regular LEDs. That's why I look tanned. Zach Owens, nice to have you here from Virginia. Warren Strudling, nice to have you here, my friend. Beer, what a good idea. Absolutely. Andy Colley, nice to have you here. Zachary Antle, nice to have you on board. He's pissed because the coronavirus made them love the James Bond movie. What? James Bond movie release. Oh, moved. Okay. Moved the James Bond movie. Oh, they did move the release? Really? Because of that? Wow. Okay. Man, what are you going to do? They're going to stop the movies for this summer? Or what? You got to stop, got to stop going crazy with that. Oh, yeah. The pancakes were amazing. And there was a miso. The mix was a miso, mayonnaise, and teriyaki mix that you would put on these Japanese pancakes. Oh, man, they were so good. I took one bite and was like, oh, man, this is good. This is heaven. Brian Penny, nice to have you on board, and he's back from Shortwave Fest. Somebody had taken your identity last time. Nice to have you here. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Rob, yes, haircut. This afternoon, actually. I was looking at myself in the mirror at like noon, and I was like, okay, come on, go get a haircut. It's time now. Matambale, snippets of audio from Radio Martini RM and 7345. There was a really nice rant about that on Glenn Hauser's World of Radio, by the way, where he was mentioning how nobody in Cuba can listen to the RM pretty much. What the hell are they thinking? What's happening with my MLA 30 Plus? Look. I don't know if you guys can see it. Here's a MLA 30 Plus. I actually set it up with this broomstick. It's right here. You see the plus sign on the box. So it's actually set up here. And it can work, actually. But it can work, but indoors it doesn't work very well. It does in the kitchen. But I'm going to do more stuff for sure. What else do we have? Chuck Yunkin. Nice to have you here. Laird Nigel Lawrence. Nice to have you here. And have a nice night of sleep, my friend. Mike Anna. Nice to have you here. Jerry DX, hello, my friend. What else do we have? Rob says, a great job listening to the radio and YouTube radio live shows with great people. Absolutely. Mitch says, glad we don't observe daylight savings times in Arizona. Also picking up Radio Martin DRM. What else do we have? Nicholas Heyer, nice to have you here. K9XN Nick in Indiana, USA. David, KJ4CMY, nice to have you here. Cecil Gregory, nice to have you, Cecil, from Georgia. Larry Nigel Lawrence, G0MEJ. British summertime is 29th of March in the UK. So everybody saying hello to Elizabeth, of course. She is here now. Carl, nice to have you here. Mike Hill, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas. Fastload, nice to have you on board. Zach, hey Joel, I'm pissed off because, they moved the James Bond movie, you were saying. Yeah, it's sad. Prasad, nice to have you here from India. And was preoccupied with some work and will remain for the week to come. Not done much listening. Yeah, it happens from time to time, eh? This week is a very hard week for me because I have YouTube meetups, all sorts of things happening. Tomorrow, I'm not at home all day. I've got tons of things to do. So I'm kind of having a hard time making the videos and doing all I want. Keegan in Northwest Arkansas, nice to have you here. Matt Hallows, different versions of MLA30, are they fakes? I don't think so. They just made modifications, I think. Because I didn't test it a lot, but I did use it for a couple of hours. It seems to perform probably as well as the original that I have here. I think it's that over time they make modifications or change things. So Rob says, yes, near the clock for the on-air sign, good spot. So, yep, absolutely. Yeah, it could be on the wall here also. That would be an interesting idea to put that beautiful sign here. Because I hate having, me cover that sign. It's such a beautiful sign to be on the air. So I'm 30 minutes behind in the chat, guys. So I'm coming, okay? Terry Cook, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Oh, Nunavut is on 40 meter FT8 right now. Wow, cool. AJ Jolie, nice to have you here from Mexico. Yes, we are soon to be live at the end of the month. Well, it'll be nice to see you, my friend. Absolutely. And I hope you're having fun. I see all of these pictures. Music's the hang up. I've been literally following your channel for a year. Probably 10 plus first live stream to join in. Cool. Nice to have you here, my friend. Really cool. Mike Hill enjoyed a video from Shortwave Winterfest. What the hell? And hopefully next year I'll be there. Where's Mr. Paul? He's sleeping right here. He's sleeping. So you guys want to see Paul? Here comes Mr. Paul. I'm going to show you guys Paul for a second. And all the mess going down. Here it goes. Nothing more beautiful than Mr. Paul, my case of beer, my mess of all sorts of things, and that weird plant. So that's Mr. Paul having a nap right now. Oh, that was Mr. Paul for your entertainment, sleeping like a little baby. Max Headstrong, nice to have you here from Michigan. We have William Powell, just received his PL 880. He's all excited. Where do I find shortwave schedules? Well, EIBI space is one of the best places. EIBI space.de, and there are other websites that people might be posting. Kevin Wood, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia. David Martin, nice to have you on board. Enjoying a little amateur radio is better than being prescribed antidepressants. Absolutely. Totally right on that. Totally right on that. What else do we have? Matt says, funny, always been introverted, but although I'm more confident and able to deal with the public and groups than ever, I go out far less often than I used to. Skip Davis, nice to have you on board. He's almost a hermit, says Skip. Jim from Rhode Island, nice to have you here. Andy Coley, that's why he loves ham radio. I mean, I think radio has that capability of having us, really show up and together to do stuff and still be, Music's a hang-up. Broke out of his introversion over the years, mainly because of work. And he had to go to trade shows and pitch products. Well, that's probably pretty much the same way that I came out, having to deal with people because it's your work. You can't get out of it. That's how it is. Mike Hill says working in a school forces him to be somewhat social. I think even if you're an introvert, you can become social if you're given the chance to interact more. G-Bone 1, nice to have you here. And I think one of the things also, and I think that's important, some of the reason why people are introverts sometimes is because they don't feel super confident with others. And if you're given an occasion to do something where people find that you're good at it, you actually feel better about yourself. So you actually will go out more, Max Headstrong, I go into full retirement at the end of the month. Splendid isolation. Oh, man. Pretty crazy. Mike Hill says, I have a problem even telling my dog what to do. Oh, man. What else do we have? Jay Watterson, 69. Nice to have you on board. Kimberly, nice to have you here from Southern California. 71 Fahrenheit. Great temperature to go outside with a radio. Oh, man. G-Bone says, I've owned my own businesses since 1997. Can't say it's been easy. When I started doing my my tech jobs, when I left and I started my own tech jobs. You think you're going to get like tons of clients and things are going to be easy and that's how it goes. Yeah, that's not exactly the way it goes. It actually takes time to build that clientele. Gaëtan Belil, bonsoir. Nice to have you here. Steve from San Juan Islands in the Pacific Northwest, where the sun is shining, but the rain is on the way. Nice to have you here. Rob says, yes, I remember that Seinfeld episode. Yeah, the Summer of George. Actually, you guys, somebody laughed his head off on Sunday. I was at a bar with friends, and at the end of the bar, some guy was actually, if you've seen Seinfeld, there was a guy there that looked like Newman. And the weird part is the friends I was with never watched Seinfeld, so they didn't know what I was talking about, but the bartender did. So I said to the bartender, have you ever seen Seinfeld? So he says, yeah. He says, look at the right side of the bar, the last guy. Isn't he like Newman? So he looks at me, starts laughing, and says, man, that is totally Newman. Oh, man. Yeah, I bet. Must be a great place for sailing for sure, Steve. Oh, man. G-Mon says, first favorite Seinfeld episode when they lost the car in the parking garage. Oh, man. Live weather, Mike. Well, it's your first time. Welcome aboard from Oklahoma. Pretty cool. Yeah, I liked Master My Domain too, Stephen Wood. That was a funny one. I like when George gets a hand. He doesn't have a job, and he meets this woman, and he's like a total loser, and he's got hand modeling stuff, and is the guy there says that the last guy had his hand in a claw because he couldn't be master of his domain, and he says, "No worries, I won a contest." Oh man, I love Seinfeld so much. Live weather Mike is a shortwave fan, weather spotted. I think that often goes together. Live weather Mike. I am a big, I got that little weather station here, but I am a big fan of weather and what's happening with weather. And I think, I don't know, a lot of guys that listen to radio or amateur radio operators are actually fans of kind of, whatever's happening with the weather. I don't know. Maybe it's because we have um, that little, science thing about it. I don't know. Jerry, I don't know anyone likes their jobs. Well, I think some people do like their jobs, honestly. I really think some people do like their jobs. But, I know the majority of people probably just go to work because they have to. But there are people for sure that love their jobs. Gary from Durant, Oklahoma. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Skip Davis is in Yukon, Oklahoma. Jay Watterson, work the system or the system will work you. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So it was, the summer of Jill. The summer of Jill. Let's go down here. I'm going to try to join. So I am 17 minutes behind, guys. I'm going down as fast as I can. Rough Rider, nice to have you here. Jay Watterson says, now you're known as Jill, the caretaker of Paul the Cat. Mike Stevens says, super important to enjoy your work, whatever it is, puts food on the table and roof over your head. Absolutely. And, it destroys a lot of who you are if you hate your job and go to work and hate it, Yeah, sometimes you hate your job not because necessarily the job itself is bad, but because the way that you're treated and the way that they treat you is the bad thing. Crittenden Tuttle 4, you did not take advantage of unemployment insurance. You're correct. In 93, the system was set up that way to encourage people to stick with their unhostile employment situation. Yeah. And, I had unemployment insurance twice in my life. That time where I actually had control, and once when I lost a job in 97, 6. Wonderland, nice to have you here from Brazil. Rufus says, I was lucky enough in my last job to have my severance and take 7 months off. First time I have not worked in some sort since I was 13. Wow. Pretty cool. Route 66. Nice to have you here. HB, nice to have you on board from the UK. RJDA Dakota, nice to have you here, my friend. David Martin, sabbaticals are great. Few companies allow them, though. Taking several months off from work. Yep. Recharges the batteries a lot. Skip says, don't watch movies anyway. Just give me a radio. G-Bone says, started offering my employees flex time. You automatically get 2 weeks off to use however you wish. Well, I'm sure your employees are actually happy to have that and probably stay even more in your company because of that. VT Radio, nice to have you on board in Essex Junction, Vermont. Going to recap his Helicopters S120 in a few days. It's a big job. It's a big job. Hi, Stevens. The live streaming studio framing tonight is spot on. Great lighting, great DX gadgets, and great haircut. Oh, man. What else do we have? CJ, cheers. Nice to have you on board. Fun stream so far. Currently waiting on parts for his QRP guy's regenerative receiver. Can't wait to do some shortwave listening out in the countryside. I'm waiting for the more beautiful weather to go outside and just enjoy radio. Zach says, if I would travel anywhere, would I go? Where would I go? I can't say I have a specific location, but I am very, very interested in going to Europe. And when I do travel, I will probably be going to Europe. No specific countries necessarily, but I'd see myself like going for several weeks and visiting several countries. That's for sure. I'd like to see the Nordic countries like, Sweden, Norway, Finland. Must be really beautiful there. David Silva, nice to have you here from Portugal. Run Lift Throw, nice to have you here from Campbell, California. KM6AZX. Pretty cool. I would bring a radio with me, that's for sure. That is for sure. I mean, I'll go through Europe with her shortwave radio. Gilles Nouveau, nice to have you here. So, what else do we have? Mickey Delmage. Was great seeing you yesterday also. Had a great time. A few beers and sorry for Monday. I was totally lost. When I saw Sheldon's post, I was like, oh man, we were supposed to meet Monday, and I would have loved so much to have you guys come here and see the setup and everything. But, at least we made it and we saw each other yesterday. I hope your travel back to Alberta went well. It was really nice to see you yesterday also. Zach, well, the virus making people not go out and ticket sales are down, and yeah, it's not going to prevent it's not going to prevent me to go to the movies or do something. Honestly, Shortwave Fister Fest, Zach. Yeah, Paul's sleeping. Zach says your plan is begging to be put out of misery. Well, actually, it looks like that, but the leaves that are red, they look like dead leaves on the camera. But honestly, they are actually pretty nice, and there's actually a couple of flowers on top of that. It's my effort to try to save my box of plants from last year. Oh, man. Robert Ellison and 3NDX. Nice to have you here. Yeah, cats do sleep a lot because he doesn't sleep at night. He wakes me up like every 2 hours at night. James Powers, nice to have you here from New Hampshire, KC1ENJ. Mark Stevens has Texan PL880, loves it. David Silva, in 10 minutes is 1 a.m. Well, in 6 minutes is 1 a.m. What else do we have? Crittenden Tuttle 4, going to purchase a new SDR. Your thoughts? SDR player SPDX or AirSpy HF Plus Discovery? Thank you for your expertise. I can't pronounce myself between one or the other for a simple reason. I don't know the performance of the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. I've heard a lot of good things about it. But because I don't own one and I don't know, the only thing I could say is if you get an RSPDX, you're getting a great, great SDR. And I would go for it because I know, how it performs. That's what's on the screen here. The RSPDX. It's just amazingly good. RFDXer, nice to have you on board. What's on tap today? Well, right now I've got a blonde de Chambly, and I have a Maudit, which means it's a beer of the damned coming up. So I got 2 beers, and if there's not enough alcohol, I've got some vodka and cranberry juice. So yeah, well, that's why I do the Friday show, David Silva. On Friday, at least, the show is earlier. And this show is really to try to get more people from different parts of the world. William Moser, nice to have you here. Keegan's listening. Keegan's listening with his dad's ICOM IC7300 and W6LVP loop. And his dad is W9JEF. Roberto Ellison. As we have. Matt says introversion isn't about shyness or confidence. Introversion just means you're not someone needs to be around a lot of people all the time. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm very happy to be alone when I'm alone. It's funny because when I'm at a party or if I do stuff and go to a bar with friends, I'm kind of the party animal guy. And everybody is like, Gilles is the guy that you're going to have fun in a social event. But I'm actually very, very happy being alone with myself and doing my little stuff. Jay Lyle, nice to have you here from Southern Illinois, W89211SWL. RFDX, well, it's mostly propagation because I don't think I hear 5,000 kilohertz WWV pretty much all the time in the evening. And I haven't seen any reports of being off. I know if you guys are trying to find Radio Romania is their Tiganiski transmitter site has problems again. So some of their frequencies are off. MRI, nice to have you here. Where are you from? Where are you from? What else do we have? Skip Davis, when Seinfeld saved a whale, yeah. He's a whale biologist. Okay, I'm going to check that out, Matt. Curb Your Enthusiasm. I need to check that out. Oh, man. Yeah, WTWW actually was on the air yesterday. It seems that they've had tornadoes, so I don't know if it actually just knocked off the power or something bad happened, but WTWW was off yesterday. I don't know if they're on tonight, 5085. I don't see anything on 5085, so I'm wondering if anything happened to WTWW in Lebanon, Tennessee, because it seems that they might have been hit by some bad weather. I know that I didn't know about the bad weather in Tennessee, and somebody in the Shortwave group actually was mentioning that yesterday, and that made me understand why WTWW 5085 was not on the air. Well, that's nice to have you here, Jay Lyle. Get on Belil, get retired since 1 year, and let me tell you that I love this job. Well, that is cool. That is cool. Being self-employed like I am is a very different thing. Um, I have a lot of problem with authority. I've always had, but being self-employed kind of fixed that somehow. It's like you're your own boss. You still got to work hard, and most of the time, self-employed means you work even harder than somebody that just works in a job. But I'm really happy to be doing what I do, and I'm happy to be able to live off of YouTube. Actually, it's not something that's easy to do. Also, Danny, Shortwave, and Radio DX. Nice to have you on board from cool and windy Yonkers, New York. Pretty cool. So, Candy Atkins, nice to have you here from Connecticut. Ro Weaver, nice to have you here. Yep, on Sunday, we move ahead 1 hour. UTC. UTC stays the same. It's the reference to UTC that changes. David, I like that. David says, you'd like Europe. It's very European. It's 66 says, I've got an SDR player, RSP1A, RTL SDR, outdoor TV and FM radio, and an MLA30 loop antenna. And he has fun playing around with all of that. Cool. Cool. Man. Tom the Xer, if you can travel to Europe, try and get to Portugal. It's a gem and somewhat off the usual tourist destinations. I'm the kind of guy that wants to go to places where nobody wants to go. I totally understand it. It must be great. And I would love to go to Paris, and I would love to go to London, and I would love to go to these places for sure. But you know what? I'm the kind of tourist that wants to see what else the country can actually show me. When I was a tech guy, there was a one of my clients was a woman from Portugal. She lived there for 2 years and a half. And I remember the last time that I went there, she says, it's the last time we see each other. And I said, why? And she says, well, I can't stand Canadian winters. They're just too difficult. And where I live in Portugal, well, I'm close to the sea, and it's like, it never gets cold like here. So I remember she looked at me and she says, you have been so nice with me over the years that if you ever come to Portugal, you have to come to where I live, and you'll have a place to stay for free. I'll be happy to show you around. And I'm sure Portugal must be a beautiful place to be. I was watching a tech show the other day. I like to go to Spain also. People say that Barcelona is absolutely gorgeous to visit. So I'd like to, one day. Before I die, I need to go to Europe, and I need to visit a lot of countries. I'd love that. David Martin, 9330. WBCQ was strong here last week. Tonight, no signal. Let's just see here if I get anything. Yeah, I got a small signal here, actually. I don't know if it's them. Yeah, they're on. They're on right now. That's definitely the World Last Chance broadcast. They are on right now. So maybe it's just propagation not going to your area. Oh, man. What else we got? Randall Klontz. Nice to have you here. 49 has been good. 49 meters has been really good. Jane Lyle, think the buzzer is still off. Haven't received it in 3 days. Let's check it out here. For 625, do I hear anything? And the buzzer sphere. Oops. It's on. I'm hearing it. I'm pretty sure it's on. Let's try an SDR to make sure that I don't have any, audible, audible hallucinations or some sort. I'm gonna try the U20 SDR and see if I can hear it here. But I think I hear it on my radio. So let's go down. Yeah, I know I'm using a mobile. Click here to switch. What the hell? Start audio. I'm gonna go here. So let's see. 4625. No, it's really on tonight. If you guys want to hear it from the U20 SDR. And I was hearing it. It was in the noise, but I was hearing it actually on my receiver here too. So it's propagation. Oh, man. Mike Hill says, usually Arkansas gets the weather before Tennessee. It's a weird winter this year. So, all the things are weird, honestly. Rufus says, WWCR was on the air, but nothing from Lebanon, Tennessee. Yeah. Seems WTWW is off. Yeah, that's why you got to save money, Max Headstrong. When you are self-employed, it's not the same. So you got to put money aside in case something happens. And honestly, you say no safety net when self-employed. There's a lot of jobs you have no safety net even when you're working, honestly. Gaetan Belil says, yesterday I heard Voice of Freedom in South Korea. 5920. Really? Wow. Was it in Korean? At least? Because 5920 is there's a US station on that frequency usually. Wow. Giuseppe Fisuni. Nice to have you here from upstate New York. Nice to have you here. Joseph. Nice to have you here from Northern California. Wood Beast Production. Nice to have you here, my friend. Here in Quebec, because so on Sunday, so anybody that is in a time zone that will change this weekend, we're going to daylight savings time. So 0 UT. So this show is at 7 p.m. usually Eastern. So here in Quebec and all the East Coast, it's 7 p.m. because it's 0 UTC. Next week, my show stays at 0 UTC. But because we are in daylight savings times, my show now will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time because we change our clocks, not UTC. Radioactive, nice to have you on board. Jill is the type of tourist that goes and sees the antenna farm for BBC. Oh, absolutely. I want to see Wolferton. Have you seen London? No, but I've been to Wolferton. Do I cover Wi-Fi radios? Not really. I got one here. I got a Sangean WFR20 that I never use, and I really need. I look at it. I paid almost $300 for it. Every time I look at it, I'm saying, come on, you paid $300 for it. You should take it out and spend some time with it because there's tons of things there for sure. And it has an amazing sound also. I was thinking of taking it and bringing the Wi-Fi radio to the kitchen and use it as a kitchen radio. I think that could be nice because I mean it's very beautiful, and I mean I hate to have electronics that aren't used. It's always been a for me. It's always been a big problem when you have electronic devices that you don't use. You know. Mike Hill says, I'd love to see the antenna farm too. Yeah, absolutely. I go to Florida. I want to see WRMI Okeechobee transmitter sites. So, Wood Beast Productions, thank you. Nice to have you here. How you been doing, man? Long time. What else? Just going down here. If I haven't said hi, by the way, guys, please say again because 4885 Brazil. Yeah, I'm hearing it a little bit. One that has been so strong that I go crazy is 9666. And it's actually there again tonight. Radio Voz Missionaria from Brazil on 9666. You know what? Isn't it funny that a religious station is on 9666? Just saying. Man. J. Lyle says the AirSpy HF Plus is very good. It's optimized for the shortwave and VHF UHF. I get great performance with them. Yeah, maybe I should get one. Maybe I should purchase one to test out and compare with the SDR Play stuff. I hear a lot of people playing and talking about it. So, hey, Renaclons. Kimberly, I hate to ask you, but do you like Corona beer? I heard their company is being affected because people are associated. Really? Really? I mean, if people stop buying Corona beer because of the virus, what a bunch of idiots we have in our society. You know, there was a new when I got my haircut, you know, when you go to I'm the kind of guy when I get a haircut, I don't want to talk. That's why I go where I go. The guy doesn't talk to you. I just, cut my hair and shut up. That's the kind of guy I am. But he has that big screen with the news, the 24-hour news channel. So he's cutting my hair, and the first news that comes up is, well, in Montreal, all the Chinese restaurants have no one because people are scared of going to Chinese restaurants. And what I particularly loved is the girl on the news that says, apparently people are scared of getting the COVID-19 in a wonton soup. And for a moment I started laughing, and he kind of looked at me like weird, like, what am I laughing about? Because he wasn't listening to it. But I was like, yeah, people are scared of getting sick with a wonton soup. Oh man, I don't like Corona beer. I don't like the taste of it. It smells and tastes like skunk. But I would not. I would still have one. I'm not scared of that, and I would go and eat in the Chinese restaurants downtown. I mean, this is where, come on, people are really dumb at some point, Matt says, if you have Amazon Prime, Curb is included under streaming service. Okay. Yeah, I should check that out because here in Canada, the offer, it's like Netflix. Here in Canada, it's not the same as the US. But maybe I'll check that. I'll check that. So, Radioactive from Prineville, Oregon, W7WXV. Let's have you here. So, no, it's on. The buzzer's on. I'm hearing it. What else do we have? Sorry, guys, I'm having a little. So, um, Giuseppe is looking for tips. I've never paid much attention to medium wave, but interested in DXing medium wave now. Problem is, my radio picks up so many stations. The whole band is just a soup of overlapping medium wave stations. It's using a Yaesu FRG 150 feet long wire. Any tips? So, okay, one of the things that you should do is instead of a long wire, you should get a loop. You should get for medium wave, serious medium wave DXing. Get yourself a loop like this. This is a MLA 30 loop antenna that is very cheap. And why? Because your wire is receiving only the signals in a certain way. A loop is very directional. If you turn the loop on medium wave, you can null out stations. So you can remove a station that is dominant, for example, and get another station that would be on the frequency, because by turning the loop, you're able to actually get other stations while the other ones are being phased down. So a loop antenna is a great idea for sure. But in your circumstance, say you want to continue with the what you have now, is patience. Patience is the best thing you can do, because what you could do is simply listen in. One of the great things about Wikipedia is if you just type in Google a frequency in kilohertz. So say you're on 540 kilohertz and you hear tons of things in there. What you could do is type 540 kilohertz in Google, and it's going to bring you Wikipedia. And Wikipedia has a list of all the stations on 540 kilohertz of the different countries. So you can try by using that list, looking at the power level of the stations and where they're located, kind of pin down maybe what you're listening to. Some frequencies are easy, and you're going to get a strong. Some frequencies are called clear channels. So, for example, here, if I tune in 880 kilohertz, I'll hear WCBS New York really, really well. But there are some frequencies. There are some graveyard frequencies we call that, like you'll have a mishmash of a million stations in there. There are frequencies where there's 3, 4, 5 stations, and they all fade in and out. And there was actually an interesting article in the Spectrum Monitor. I think it was like September, October last year, where one guy actually sits in front of his radio, and he listens to those graveyard frequencies for hours at a time, pinning down what's possible that you're listening to. One of the things that I do when I tune in medium wave is I take my computer, my tablet, or my phone. I start looking at what stations are on the air according to Wikipedia. And what I try to do is I try to stream that station and see if the program that I hear on the stream on the web matches what I'm listening on the radio. Now, that's a little tricky because sometimes the stream is like 30, 40 seconds off. But sometimes I've been able to actually ID what medium wave station I was listening to. But if you get serious at it, definitely get yourself a loop like the MLA 30. It's 40-ish US dollars. And that directional pattern of it will let you actually null some stations and get other stations on the medium wave band. Jay Lyle, I would like to go to Scotland. It would be great to visit my family's homeland. You're not banned with Beast. I see you. Yeah, well, mine WFR20 uses receiver as a as the basics. Yeah, absolutely, Max Headstrong. Job security is an illusion in many jobs. Just look at, let's say, I don't wish one, but let's say a recession comes through. How many people are going to lose their jobs? It's not more secure. The big gun jobs are secure. The big gun jobs have that security on it. But the majority of jobs that people have zero security. Zero. You can lose your jobs tomorrow morning. So it's not worse or better, honestly. Honestly. Let me just what else do we have? What else do we have? Gibon is using Web SDR. That's another. That's okay. That's another good suggestion, though. Using online SDRs to kind of pin down stations by using an SDR that might be close to the station you think you're listening to. Northern Dawn says his radio club was organizing trips to Wolverton. Oh, that must be fun. Keegan, 650, WSM Nashville, Tennessee on air when I checked. Any info on 1100 AM Cleveland? I don't know. I usually hear it quite well here. Keegan says 5085 WTWW is still out the air, so there must be something going on. RJ Dakota 9666. Never thought of that. I never thought it until now. While I was saying the frequency, and I was like, Buzz Misonaria, religious station that ends in 666. Oh god. Max Headstrong says, cut my hair and shut up. I love it. I am totally in that situation. Cut my hair and shut up. I don't have, we all have these awkward little things that in size of ourselves. But honestly, when I go get my hair cut, I don't know you. I don't want to know your life. And I don't care. Just cut my hair and make it as fast as possible. You'll get a bigger tip if you shut up than if you talk for me for half an hour. Jay Lyles has been getting a slight hit on 9455. Huh. Interesting. Ham Extra, nice to have you here from Central Texas. He's a big Skywave SSB fan. My review's coming up, and I'll try to make it tomorrow or Friday. I wanted to do it today, but man, this week I'm just so busy. It's complicated. Man. Yeah, well, I always have lime with Corona beer, but it smells like skunk. Absolutely. Zach, the thing about the virus that scares me are kind of horrible people that'll come out of the woodwork and do awful things because they think they have nothing. Yeah. There's so much craziness about that. Yeah, I got it here too. I'm at 9330. Kimberly, I know, Joe, I agree. I would like to buy a case and put it on the conveyor belt at the grocery store and see how many people clear out. I'm going to do that too. I will put Corona beer everywhere around my place here. Oh, man. What else do we have? Yeah, loops are great for medium wave, that's for sure. Oh yeah, that's for sure, Matt. That's probably the thing that we have to watch. Like every virus, is mutation. That's for sure. That's for sure. But for now, it's a it's like the flu. Rob, very nice loop, Joe. Like how you just reached left the camera and grabbed the loop. Oh man. Well, I got it, and I got this one this week. For those that don't know, this is the loop I got yesterday. No, yesterday was what, Tuesday? On Monday, I got it Monday, and I immediately took a broomstick, wooden broomstick that I have, and set it up because I wanted to test it inside, and all. Um, well, Coast to Coast is still there with Beast. Just tune in some of the frequencies. Kimberly says I should have my husband bring home Chinese food tonight. I was thinking when I was watching that news report, I was like, you know what, I should go. For the first time ever, I could go to a Chinese buffet and not have to have a million people around me. Maybe now's the time to go to my favorite Chinese buffet. CJ says, Prineville, you still hanging around in chat? You pick up loads of Chinese broadcasts in the evening. There's, China radio is more difficult since they actually since they don't have the Albania transmitter side working though. But yeah, radio locator works well. Absolutely. But I mean, Wikipedia is amazing. Yeah, radio locator has maps, that's for sure. Yeah, it's more like Mexico, US, and Canada. It's very centered over there, but it's very, very current for the information for sure. For sure. Nice to see you with Beast. RJDA Dakota CC Crane CC Wi-Fi uses receiver. There's one thing I don't like about that though. I mean, if tomorrow morning receiver database would go dark, you got a useless box. That's what I don't like about having a receiver aggregate on a central database. I mean, these things are little computers. They could actually find their own stations without having to necessarily go to a specific database, or at least use several databases. I had one, a cheap one from Radio Shack, which used I mean, what was the name of that one? There was a player that you could install in Windows that was popular for a while that used it. Man, I forgot the name. But it's like if the database goes down, your device is useless suddenly. Yeah, radio locator has limit searches. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, maybe Matt, but it hasn't hasn't happened to me yet. Every time I go somewhere, every place that I went to is like, yeah, just cut my hair and shut up. Maybe someday I'll find a stylist or someone who's like, yeah, okay, I want to talk with you. Maybe I need to find that. I mean, I went to the same one with my brother for a while, and my brother was like, "Oh, don't you like how, she chats with you or whatever?" And I'm like, No, I just want to I just wanted to shut up. But, it's not just that. I think I have definitely have a specific personality that there are things in life that I just don't wanna. But probably, you're right, Matt. If I had somebody that for some reason there's some, link maybe somewhere would be more interesting to talk about for sure. For sure. Gaetan Belil, Eton KC538. What is that? Let me just check it out here. Ethan KC538. I have no idea what that is. KC5 KC538. What is that? Oh, it looks nice. That looks like that's interesting. KC538. It looks like the Ethon Executive or something that they call. It is very beautiful. Absolutely. $149. Huh. It looks like the Eton Executive in some way. Not sure. Most of the Ethons in that category with the orange display actually perform really, really well. Route 66 hopes that WTWW 5085 comes back. I like the fact that you can go and ask for your favorite songs on their website. It's kind of fun. Of course, I always put official SWL channel on the YouTube official SWL channel every time I put something there so that people see it. But I like it. I like it too. And they have some radio shows on like Saturdays and Wednesday. Saturday and Wednesday. Yeah, it's coming, Max Headstrong. The review is I wanted to do it this afternoon, unless I do it after the show here. But I'll be a little tired. Maybe it's not the best, but I am going to do the review of the CC Skywave SSB. Kind of nice. Honestly, I'm having fun with it. Mark Stevens likes skunk beers. Well, it depends what you like. It depends what you like as in a beer. Because I think we all have a different taste in, it's like food. We don't all like the same thing, and beer is the same. Some people like IPAs, and IPAs I just can't. So it depends on our taste buds. It depends. Each people is different. Radioactive 9330 is S9 plus 10 in Oregon. Cool. Matt, so is the MLA 30 Plus really different from the MLA 30? They just changed the labeling on it. So what I'll need to check is open the box and compare the circuit board and see if they have some differences in it. What I have noticed mostly is that it says MLA 30 plus. Instead of 0.1 to 30 megahertz, it says 0.5 to 30 megahertz. So it starts technically at 500 kilohertz. And it says 5 to 12 volts instead of 4 to 14. So I guess if they changed all of that, there's something different for sure. Ron Hicks, nice to have you on board. Yeah, WTWW off the air. There were some tornadoes in the Tennessee area. So I all I could guess is that there are some probably some problem with hopefully not too bad. Let's hope that the transmitters or antennas are not affected too. But hopefully it'll be back on the air. Maybe it's just the power. RFDXer would like to try La Résolution beer, but where to get it? Yeah, well, you have to know if there's a place that has Unibrew, which is like Fin du Monde and stuff like that. But I have the impression that that beer was a very special blend that was there for a while and is not going to be there soon. Giuseppe, it's coming. It's why the ICOM R30 review is long. It's a very complex receiver, and I have a lot to talk about. So I'm taking a lot of notes. But in a few days, RSPDX is coming also. It's just that I take a lot of notes and test a lot of little things before. The other thing I'm going to do, the MLA 30 Plus, I want to put it outside. There's no snow on the balcony. I almost went outside and installed it today and put it on the RSPDX and switch to see if there was a difference in the reception between the original and the MLA 30 Plus. RFDX. Well, WTWW website always asks for donations, honestly. So that's not different. They ask for donations. Last year they were asking donations for sure. Probably you have haircuts where maybe it's just having the right person that when you talk to that person it feels like interesting. There's something. But I'm 50. I'm going to be 50 this month. Is my birthday, so I'm going to be 51. Well, in 51 years I never had a hairstylist, female or male, that I'd like to talk to. All I want is just cut my hair and shut up. Gary Blackerby says, Shell, I love your chats. You can go from Seinfeld haircuts to radio tech subjects and keep me parked in my chair. Well, hopefully, because sometimes I go off subject. Sometimes I do go off subject, and I'm like, maybe people are like bored of me talking to whatever. But I get people telling me, no, it's super interesting. Even like talking of haircuts is interesting. Really? Wow. Okay. Oh, I would do that. I'm extra. Okay. Bring me a shortwave radio related haircut guy or girl, and I'll pay $59.99 for the haircut. But we'll talk about radio for 2 hours. Oh man. I'll make some. Let's see, have you here. Coming 325, which is what? Radio Romania? 7325. Let me check it out here. I got a weak signal. 6130 is the other one, right? Well, 6130 is good though. Interference, but with Radio Marti, but 6130 coming in good here for Radio Romania. Frank V. No success as far as reaching any kind of marine communications on PL 880 here. And can you suggest anything? One thing for sure is that if you're looking for anything that's maritime, like ship to shore and stuff like that, there's not a lot of it. Not a lot of it. So you need to have a lot of patience. A lot of what ship to shore communications happened, and the phone patches went to satellite at some point. So there's not a lot of stuff happening. But if you do listen in to the marine bands, you will hear some stuff. It's just that you require a lot of patience to do so. Max says strong. If we could get Jill to fix our computers while he's doing the live show. Oh man. Anyone? Rob says anyone else annoyed when today's radio DJs do not tell us the name of the last few songs that just played? Yeah, because they're expecting you to look at the RDS on your radio and see the songs displayed in there. Yep, WTWW, WWCR, and WWRB. Is WWRB on air? It was just WTWW that's off the air. Giuseppe says, can't wait for the review of R30, but I'm looking forward to your detailed review. I haven't had time. Yeah. I just want you to take, a deep breath because my review is not going to be the best. I am very, very sad of how the Icom ICR30 performs, honestly. On shortwave isn't too bad, but sad. What else do we have? Yeah, you use Shazam. Absolutely. You know the difference with a barber shop, because we were talking about haircuts. The difference is I noticed one thing is a lot of barber shops have like their clientele from like ages, and you hear them talking, and obviously it's like it's been 25 years or 20 years that's the same place. Maybe it's I'm not giving it time enough. Like for example, the place I'm going now, I don't know, I've been going there for a year. Because the other place I would go to was an old 90-year-old guy that every time he cut my hair, I always thought that he was gonna have like some kind of seizure and die in front of me while cutting my hair. It was really something to see. But I liked him because he did it well and he didn't talk. But I've changed so many times. Maybe I'm just not giving enough time for whatever. So it's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know. So for now, it's shut up and cut my hair. Okay. Maybe I should do that. Go to any barbershop in town and so like, okay, shut up and cut my hair. Oh god. Ron Hicks, haven't got a QSL from WWCR or WWRB. Be patient. You should have them. They do QSL, but sometimes takes a little bit of time. Oh yeah, in the 80s. I mean, I would listen to RGDA Dakota. I would listen to phone patches on the marine bands. That was kind of interesting. What else do we have? Radioactive, hearing Radio Exterior de España, 9690 S5. Let's check it out here. 9690. Yeah, it's a little weak, but it's there. It's there, definitely. Matt says, or maybe stab you in the head when that seizure happens. Yeah, probably, Matt. Probably. Where I go, they are four guys and one woman. This afternoon, I arrived there, and they were all cutting hair, and I was next for whoever was next. And I noticed that every single person had a conversation with the hairstylist. And I actually thought, I was sitting down and I was thinking in my head, is it me that's just weird? They are all having a conversation. All I want is you to cut my hair and shut up. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Oh, God. Danny Shortwave Radio DX and the same barber. 40 years when I lived in the Bronx. I go there because it is not a hangout spot. And the price was good. My new barber is a woman and she is cool. We chat a lot. Yeah. I guess it's just having the correct person. Oh, we want to see that, Ron Hicks. See the QSL cards you got. Max says strong. Marine Band phone patches were fun. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was like almost, the like listening to the cell phones of in the analog bands. But it was international. And I remember being kind of a little, pissed off because I was always trying to search for any phone, because I mean, phone patches around the world from boats were of all sorts of. There were all the languages were there. So finding one in English or French was like a challenge. There were tons of them, but finding one in your language you understand, that was a little different. Rufus says my barber just got certified for straight razor shaves. Huh. I want to have, you know what, Rufus? I would go to a barber. Maybe I would talk to him. I would go to one of those barbers that use an axe to cut your hair. I'd be curious to see that. I would be curious. Maybe I would talk to the guy. So, where did you get your degree in axe cutting hair? Exactly. Oh, so you started as a you started in the forest and you thought, well, I can cut trees. Maybe I can cut hair. Matt got a EQSL from the voice of Pancho Villa. Oh ho, pretty cool. You had to tune in Eastern SDR for it. Did you hear the one at 21 some UT yesterday? Hey Dave, nice to have you here. Give me time. Man, if you'd seen my week, Dave, you would go crazy. I didn't have time to play around with it. I'm sorry, but it's coming. Okay. What else do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, same here, Max. I don't want to have massages. I don't like that. Oh man. Hey, back. Keegan is back. Yep, we need barbers that have shortwave radio, or amateur radio operators. Who would go? Okay, let's ask the question. If you knew of a barber shop that were ham radio operators only or shortwave listeners only cutting hair, who would change to that barber shop because that's where you want to be? Oh, God. Rob says axe hair cutter. Yeah, with an axe. Come on. Oh yeah, Gaetan Belil, absolutely. The guy that he cut a hair of, like, I don't know. I mean, he was like a specialist in everything sports. He's still there. He's still there, Gaetan Belil. I went there a few times. Never went there really a lot because it's a little far from where I am, and I had closer spots. But yes, absolutely. If you like sports, that was a place. You want to talk about the Canadian hockey game? Well, that was a place to go. Absolutely. Joe Sambranuas, nice to have you here, my friend. Around 1800. Oh, interesting. Because I saw reports of people on 21 I got an advanced post or private message that on at 05 UT Saturday evening, Sunday UT time. It was supposed to be on, but that broadcast apparently never happened. So, Mike says, sign me up. RFDX or barbershop makes me look more human, gets my business. Rob says, yes, I would change, but still visit my old hairstylist. Oh, CQ. Oh, that would be nice. CQ Barbershop. That'd be nice. CQ Barbershop. Frank C says it's me. I'm the problem. I am the problem. I need to talk. I don't want to talk. I know that I'm probably the problem, but I don't want to talk. I don't know you. I don't want to talk with you. Unless I got some really, really good reason where we can talk about something really cool. I don't want, what I don't like, and that's probably it. I don't like, because I don't know you. We talk about the weather, the news. I don't like that. It's like, I don't care. Come on. But obviously, if somebody would talk to me about a subject that really, really I love, you talk to me about shortwave radio, hey, I'd talk. I would be really talking a lot, actually. So, Um, Gary says the woman who cuts my hair has done so for 10 years. I would rather go there than work. She talks to everyone and can tell me more about my workplace than I know. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, here's a big city, so it's different. Lorenzo, nice to have you here. What is Tirid? Is it the end of the world? Danny Shortwave says, when I moved to Yonkers, I went through a few barbers until I found her. She is from Mexico. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's just a question of getting the right person, honestly. Dave Freeman says, Joe found out why WRMI Shortwave offers broadcasting your own talk or music station for only $1 a minute. Thinking of doing a show in the summer. You should. You should, man. Honestly, anybody that wants to participate and do some kind of show on one of these US stations totally should, honestly. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Rob. I think I just don't like small talk. It's probably a lot of that. Because honestly, I'm a social guy, and I talk with people. But I think I don't like the fact that because we see each other every few months and we talk about the same news, weather, or whatever, it's something that I, you know, can you guys wait a minute? I'm hearing something and I'm back. Okay, guys, sorry, I'm back. It's my next door neighbor. There's apparently some kids that there's a locking door here, but you got to lock it, and some of the tenants in the building don't lock the door. So there's been a couple of times where kids were smoking cigarettes in the downstairs. So one of the tenants came up to me and said, people don't lock the door. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to check it out. Because, anyways, that's life. Talk to them about propagation. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, maybe that's what I need to do. Is talk about shortwave radio. Then they won't have anything to say. And I'm just going to have, a haircut. Oh, God. So sorry, guys. I just was looking at. Okay. Max says ICOM Assassins. Oh, God. I was hoping to have a book today. I ordered the John Figliosi book for the shortwave, and it was the Amazon said, hey, you're gonna get it before 8 p.m. today. No, I did not. So I was like, okay. Matt says, no, before devices, many of us were bored out of our heads, forced to be polite to people who would talk to us, even if you were reading books. Yeah, I don't know. Ashke has Vimal. Nice to have you here. Where are you located, my friend? RFDXer, what station on 9690? It's Spain. Radio Exterior, Radio Nacional de España. It's really Spain that you're listening to RFDXer. KA2YNT. Nice to have you here, Todd. It is a great group, and there's a lot of great people here. Absolutely. Max says, Trunk says, praise the R30. No, I'm not. So, no, it's because one of my neighbors is. So we locked the door here because what happened is that a couple of times there were some drug addicts that actually came in, and I came from the bar one night at 3 a.m. There was a guy really stoned, crazy, sitting in here because in the kind of lobby, if you want, because it was minus 20 outside and he could get in, and he was kind of complex. I had to take him out and just say not to come back, and so we added a lock. But the problem is half of the tenants don't lock the door. So of course that woman, she came up and she's like, I don't feel secure because there were 3 guys smoking. And I was like, yeah, I totally understand. And she came up here because she came up because I'm the guy, So I was like, can you just go down and throw them out, I totally understand that. And I totally understand that she doesn't feel that it's really cool because of that. But, it's like you tell everybody to lock the damn door and nobody does it, Going to need a lock that locks itself. But then you know what's going to happen? They won't have their keys. Vasti, Greenwich Satellite 800, great receiver. Cool. Where are you located? Oh, man. Rob says, someone failed on my Amazon delivery. Yeah, well, they did say, that Okay, wait, guys. Sortir les gars. En bas, entre les deux portes. J'ai été correct avec les ondes, mais je dis la prochaine fois, c'est la police. Fais-toi, là, j'attends l'autobus. Quel est l'autobus? Au coin de la rue? Là, ils sont inquiets un peu en bas. Ouais, je comprends. La fille, à l'appartement 2, elle dit que c'était la troisième fois. Ah ben, là, on ne peut pas accepter ça. Là. Non, on ne pas laisser ça. C'est dans mon émission. Là. Sorry, guys. A little hyped up. I actually had to kick 3 guys out. Beer time. Oh, man. 3 guys smoking pot. Okay. What were we talking about? Vesti W1 INC, Concord, New Hampshire. What else do we have? Man. Whew, give me a second. 2 black guys and a Latino or something. And sorry, it's not, my comments are not related to anything ethnic or whatever. Yeah, I am. I'm a little nervous and hyped up now. Okay, because the women in apartment 4 came to me and said, "Look, you're the only guy in the place." Yeah, I get it, but I'm going to do the cop a little bit. So I promised everybody I would go up and down like regularly to make sure nobody's near. But and it explains one thing, because it smelled like pot about 3 or 4 days ago, and I wondered how come. And that's when one of the tenants downstairs that I never talked to said, "Hey, you've been here 3 times." Okay. God. Okay. What are we talking about? We are going. Linus Doss, nice to have you here. Ghost of Asia, nice to have you here. Nathan Petrovsky, nice to have you here, my friend. Getting a Walbrook ALA 1530 LN for his birthday. Cool. Hope you have fun with that. There you go, DC. Nice to have you here. LP302 Tascam. Cannot record into cassette. What are you doing? What's not working? Matt lived in a place in the 90s where crackheads would spark up in our foyer and has been securely outside. I mean, it's it's not fun. You don't I don't think any guys, and I'm a little tough on the side, but I don't think any guys likes to be head to head with 3 other guys and show them the way out. I understand they came to me because I'm the guy and they're all women, but man. Yeah, I am, Zach. It's a women-only building, except me. What else do we have? Hardest Alley Crafter's Kitchen, nice to have you here. So, no, I didn't call the cops. Because that's my idea, like Matt. The first idea is not to call the cops, is to show them the way out and explain to them that you shouldn't be here. Because that's the first thing to do. And they weren't violent. They weren't super friendly, but, one of them said, "Well, sorry." Okay. But I mean, Come on, this is private property and you shouldn't be here. The worst part is I asked them, what are you doing here? And they're like, we're waiting for the bus. The bus is at the corner of the street. It's not like here. You got to walk. Come on. What a lame excuse. If they would have been, worse, I would have called the cops. But you know what? I showed them the way out. I said, don't come back. And now, of course, I told everybody that I'll be doing the cop in every half hour. I'm going to go and check if everything is all right. Before there was a lock, there was a drug addict I got a welcome mat. He was sleeping on the welcome mat. Like, yeah, welcome doesn't mean like everybody's welcome. And one night I came from the bar at 3 a.m. There was this woman with like 50 bags sleeping. I was like, what the hell are you doing this? But she was, I don't know, she was like psychiatric or something, because when she saw me arrive at 3 a.m., she was so scared. She was trembling like this. I'm like, look, go away and don't come back here, okay? As we have Rufus, smoking pot is legal in Canada. In Quebec, it is still illegal in public. Yeah, that's the thing, probably, because they were smoking pot there. That's probably the reason, because here in Quebec, you cannot smoke pot in public anywhere. So they came in and smoked pot here because they were inside, not on the public street, That's probably the reason they were here. They weren't really violent or anything. They didn't like it, but they didn't seem bad guys, Lawrence Smith, nice to have you here. Ghost of Asia. Say your video, the MLA30 got, just put in an order. Mine took a month and a half, but finally arrived. I'm going to test it more now. So, Matt says, Gilles' life is like Three's Company. But absolutely, it's only women around here. Only women. The worst part is one of the things that I have seen this week here on the street. Montreal is a pretty quiet city in general. But in the past month, what intrigues me is there's little wooden signs that were put up. So it's like little wooden sticks with a sign on it. And it says, the cops are watching your neighborhood more closely. And when I saw them, I was like, that's not reassuring. If they put up signs that there's more police watching my neighborhood, that means there's something bad happening in my neighborhood. It's not making it better, Artist Alley Crafter's Kitchen. Maybe they want to be on YouTube. Yeah, they were watching me on their phones and smoking pot. First question, imagine you open the door. The first thing they say is, "Hey, dude, they have shortwave radios for us." Oh, God. Oh, that's exactly what's happening, Mark. I do have a reduced rent for that reason, Mark. I do a lot of duties here. Danny Shortwave, no, after the first time, I will play dumb and give them the benefit of the doubt, and then I'll call the cops, trust me. I was just like, cool. I was like, come on, guys, please. You can't be here, okay? It's, But at least there was a positive sign of it. You know what? Paul the cat went down the stairs because I left the door open. and they all have cats. So all I could hear once they were gone is all the girls and saying, "Oh, it's Paul the cat." uh, oh man. You know, the first when something like that happens, you cannot be, unless they are violent, you got to be okay, you know, because it's the best way to fix a problem like that is like, come on, guys, okay, don't do this, please, okay, and be okay. Yeah, Vesti, but there's a big problem with that here. It's a complex issue. I can tell you that. But I'm going to work on it to have a buzzer or something to access because it's getting crazy here. Jeff King got himself his birthday present, Tixon PL 880. It is a great radio. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. You're really going to have a lot of fun with that. For sure. What else do we have? K6YYL says, I was almost thinking your complex reminded me of TV show Bosom Buddies when you said you were the only male there. Yeah, pretty much. Scott Reed, nice to have you here. Nothing. I just had to throw out a bunch of pot smoking guys. Piper McCoy, nice to have you here. I haven't seen you in a while. Sure like your glasses. They really suit you. Thank you very much. Vasti says, picked up the ContiCon GP5 SSB. Great little portable. The RTM feature is great. Absolutely. Danny Shortwave says, some people will use your kindness as weakness. Do you have security cameras? No, there's no security. Whoops. No security cameras here. But you know what? I'm going to start. It's not just that. You know what? It's also because of all the equipment I have. And I think there should be some more verification of things happening here. For sure. The biggest problem here is, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to buy a lock that when the door closes, it just locks. And if you get your effing keys, it's your effing problem. So you disconnected Bobby Burgess for thunderstorms. Radioactive says they don't need security cameras. They have security gel. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. That's pretty much what happens. Ghost of Asia. Question about coax for my long wire. Any recommendations on the type I should get? I have some RG6 laying around. Is it good for 50, 65 feet? On shortwave, 30 megahertz or below, it's okay. There's not enough loss to be a problem, honestly. What is important about the coax is more on the it's more on the side of having a good shielding around it. That the quality is good enough so that they are actually protecting the signal from. But on the loss, it's not much of a problem here. Sorry, guys, I'm a little out of it because I'm still kind of thinking of what happened. Any shortwave needs a security. Well, yeah, with motion detection, absolutely. That's something that I need to do. I've been thinking of doing a few things here because here the first I've been here for 20 years. The first, I think it was the second year I was here. I got a story I can tell you. The second year I was here, 2002 ish, I went out and had a few beers with friends. And usually, when I go out with friends, I always come back at 3 a.m. when the bar closes. But it was a Friday night, and for some reason, at like 11 p.m., I decided that was, like, I'm going home. When I got home, when I was unlocking my door in the front, somebody was actually had broken the window and was getting in through the kitchen at the same exact time that I got here. But when he heard the door, he got scared and got back inside. I barely had the time to see him running in the backyard. And so that was the first time that something like that happened. And I was like, oh, man. And it's funny because they already back then, I was starting to do my tech job. So I had a lot of computers around here. So I thought, okay, somebody knows I have a lot of technology here, you know? But it was like, man. Rufus Newt, how to clear your place of peskies. I like that. Man. Take care, Route 66. No problem, Gary. It's just, you don't want to. It's just, when something happens, Diego DC in the kitchen making a sandwich. I don't think they were making sandwiches. I can tell you that. And I remember I got in because I am a prompt guy. So if I'm faced with a situation, I might be a little rough. And I was thinking, what would have I done if I would have been face to face with somebody in my kitchen? And I remember telling a friend, you know what? Not only I would not have been nice, but I had a few beers, it would have been worse. And I said, you know what? I think I would have killed him with a chair or something. It's not how it should be, but I was like, how will I react to somebody in my home that's not supposed to be here? It's crazy. Chemex Z 1976. Nice to have you here. G-Bone One says, one of my buddies I used to work with used to have a guy who would come in and live in his apartment while he was away. Well, that's what I would do. If I go away for a certain time, I would have my nephew come over and live here while I'm gone. And anyway, somebody's got to take care of Paul the cat. But I tell you, if I had somebody in my home that's not supposed to be here, I would, well, this guy killed someone that was in his home with a portable receiver. How to kill someone with a telescopic antenna. That would be something. How to kill someone with a telescopic antenna. Oh, man. How to kill someone with a loop antenna. That would be great. Imagine you see the cops arrive, and what they see is a guy that is hung with the metal wire of the MLA-30. Well, he was, threatening me with a knife, and I just killed him with the MLA-30 loop. It's actually a pretty good antenna to have for safety. Oh, God. Shelly, nice to have you here, my friend. David Martin, not a chair with a spoon. American Ultra style. Oh, God. What do we have? Mike Hill, my dog wouldn't allow anyone to break in. My cat, Paul, would just say, "Hey, meow, look at that. Somebody I don't know. How are you?" Oh, man. Oh, God. Protecting Paul the cat. Uh, Nulled to death. I like that. Mike Hill says nulled to death. The MLA 30 garrote. I like that. Oh, God. Oh, that'd be nice. KA2YNT says a good show segment, antenna murder mystery. Maybe I should actually start a shortwave murder mystery and how you solve. It's like Murder She Wrote, but shortwave style. Oh, God. Harper McCoy says my cat was worse than a lot of dogs. Take care, Gaetan Belil. RFDX, or that MLA 30 steel cable should do the job. Yeah, he's going to lose his head. Imagine, schluck, no more head. Beheaded by the MLA 30 steel cable. Oh, God. Kimberly says, my brother, who resembled Hagrid from Harry Potter, would stay here when we were on longer vacations. Oh, man. You don't want to mess with Hagrid, that's for sure. Amos Mungenson, nice to have you. Commercial AM and FM DXing was fun. Just hoping for good solar conditions soon. I guess, Zach wants to write it. Write it and I'll make the sitcom. Take care, Mark Stevens. Quiet loom murder. Do you have guns? Oh no, I've got about a dozen MLA 30s. It does a better job than guns. And it doesn't make any sound. Any sound. Oh, God. Oh, crazy. Giuseppe says, what's your luck picking up desktop receivers at the Hamfests? So here's the thing. At Hamfest, if you go to all the Hamfests that are available in your area, you'll be surprised at how you can get really cheap and good desktop receivers. But you got to be patient and not fall for the first one that sells is, I don't know, ICOM R71A, $500. If you are patient, you will have decent desktop receivers at decent prices. Now, the best thing to do is to, if you can, test it, because one of the biggest problems with a Hamfest is that you see the guy there, he's not going to be there tomorrow. So he could screw you big time with a bad radio. And it's easy to screw people that don't know too much about radio with bad radios. So you got to be careful with that. But it's pretty interesting. KA2YNT, Cantenna murder. You know what, Giuseppe? Two things. When you talk to someone, you get somewhat of a feel of that person. Honestly, there's that first contact, the way that person talks. Now, don't be fooled. There are professional idiots out there that just are there to kind of sell crap and steal your cash, and that they look honest. But first of all, start with the feel. You know what? That feel of that exchange is often amazingly good at already having the first step. If you feel okay with the seller, often it's pretty reliable. But you know what? Um, of course, avoid the seller if he's going to tell you, well, this is a an Yaesu FRG7. It's $100, but it's not tested. Forget it. Not tested equals not working. It's as simple as that. Come on, a radio guy at a ham fest that has not tested a radio. You kidding me? It doesn't work. Now, if it turns on, try to have the guy plug it in, turn it on, at least go through the knobs and see if everything looks normal. And you know what? If you can, but it's not always possible because these places often are very noisy. A piece of wire, see if it receives anything, but at least the feel. And does it turn on and seem normal? You know, I know that one of the Amfests that I've been, the guy couldn't test the radio because of the noise around, and it was like, yeah, I understand. I understand that there's too much noise here. We're not going to get a signal, and I got to trust you in some way, you know. So it's kind of a mix of all of that, you know. Uh, what else do we have? Diego DC, do you know anyone who can help me to record into Tascam 302? But are you sure it's working well? Maybe it's just a question of, you know, I don't know. Danny Shortwave says, I've done that with shows. I would wait right before the close of the day. Some don't want to haul their. Yeah, that is absolutely a good trick. A lot of people don't want to bring back their stuff. So sometimes you have it at a lower price, actually. But, you know, it's not always possible to test. But have that feel with the seller and at least turn it on. I mean, they can all plug it in. Does it light up? Is the frequency and the stuff look normal? That's what you need. Maybe it's just a question of connections, Diego DC. This is not necessarily the best place for that type of information, but I would guess you might just have something wrong the way it's connected. So, hey guys, I'm gonna call it off for tonight. I'm kind of a little off with what happened. It's kind of in the back of my head. And so I'm gonna take it easy and do the police for the rest of the night. We're gonna be back Friday at 20 UTC, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Just want to say that next week, don't forget your local time. This is going to change. We are getting into daylight savings time on Sunday here. That means the show Eastern time is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So don't forget that, okay? And see you Friday, 3 hours, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 20 UTC. Jean-Marc Letts, bonjour et bienvenue. Was more than an hour late for the Friday show. Missed Sheldon's Skype transmission. The replay video of the show did not include the Skype part. Yeah, it should. It should. I checked it out. It was there. There's something. It should be there. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna check it out right now here. I'm gonna check it out. Okay, YouTube, because the old show seems to be recorded. So let me just check it out here. Live shortwave show of last Friday. Yeah, it's 3 hours 54. And yes, it is. I see it here with the I see it with the Skype here. Make sure you're starting at the beginning, and make sure that you have 3 hours and 54 minutes showing in the counter, because it's there. It is really there. Okay. So see you Friday, guys. Sorry if I cut it a little short, but I'm kind of a little off with what happened, and we'll be back Friday. Okay. Stay safe, my friend. Take care, and good night, everybody. Always nice to have you here. Bye-bye.